UK Black History Month, celebrated each October, honours the contributions and achievements of Black Britons across society. Today I'm speaking with Walsall footballer Liam Gordon about his journey as a black player and how he inspires the next generation. Liam, thank you so much for joining me today. I'd like you to start off by talking about your personal football journey. Where did it all start? And leading up to where we are now at Walsall Football Club and representing Guyana's national team.
Thank you for having me. So I'm a Croydon boy, born and raised in Croydon for the most of my majority of my life. And it started at a Sunday League team called Cannons, which I've got all the credit for, and that's kind of where I had my first real love for football. It was a real family club, and to this day me and my mum still speak about the club, and I've got friends that I made from since I was about 6 until now, until this day that I still speak to. And then I went on trial at a couple clubs. I went on trial at Fulham and Crystal Palace when I was younger. Obviously Crystal Palace being my local club as well. Didn't get into any of those. Then was still at the Sunday League club, and then went to AFC Wimbledon, signed for AFC Wimbledon when I was in year 7, so I think I was about 11 years old, until I was 13, got released from there. Probably my toughest time when I got released from there, because 2 of my friends, who I'm still currently friends with, they stayed on and got a new contract there, and that was tough mentally for me. Then I joined with that Carshalton Athletic until I was 17. Signed for Dagenham and Redbridge. They gave me an opportunity, and that was my first kind of experience being in and around a professional environment. And then went to Bolton Wanderers from there, and that was my first league experience, and come to Walsall, and this is why I am here until date.
Growing up in Croydon, who were your role models for football?
For football, it's a tough one. My best his dad was probably my biggest role model. I think on a personal reason as well, because I'm from a single parent family, and my mum's my biggest role model anyway, but having that father figure in my life kind of pushing me for football as well. And as my mum was taking us to football, he was taking me to football, but he treated me like I was his son as well. Sadly, he passed away when I think we were about 9 or 10. But he helped me on my football journey massively, as my biggest influence and my biggest football role model till this day anyway, and I still kind of speak to him when I can do and have that personal relationship with my best friend's family as well.
Yeah, that's lovely. Can I ask, how important is it for you to be a role model for other future black players who want to come through in the game and to be where you are?
Yeah, I think a lot of kids, especially probably went from the area that I'm from as well, would bite my hand off or snap their hand off to be in the position that I am in, and I never once take it for granted. And what I'd like to do more is go around to communities like where I've grown up from, and other communities less developed areas, and just speak to them and just tell them not to give up and believe in themselves, and kind of just chase your dream. You're gonna have a lot of people doubting you, a lot of people not believing in you, but you've got to stick to what you know and what you believe in, and have a good circle around you.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. Now, it's Black History Month, so what does Black History Month mean to you?
Oh, everything. I wouldn't say it's a month for me. I carry it every day, all walks of life. It was big for me and my mum growing up as well. Rosa Parks was her favourite. Yeah. She used to talk about it. She's always said to me that if I was a girl, that she would have called me Rosa for that reason. But she was into boxing, I think. Well, Frank Bruno was her neighbour growing up, so boxing was a big thing around my family. So Muhammad Ali was big around my family's topics and stuff like that. So yeah, Black history is everything to me, and it's all I've kind of known and been aware of, especially growing up.
Yeah. Do you see football as a sport that can really influence social justice, equalities, generally for the black community?
Yeah, definitely. It is growing a lot in the game, especially trying to kick out that side of the racism side of things in football, and the FA are doing a good job to put things in place to get it out, and the PFA are doing a great job, the Players Football Association. And it is growing day by day. Obviously, there are still a small minority of things happening, but I think that happens in all walks of life and in a lot of other industries, not just football. But there are things in place that are going on to eradicate it out of football, and hopefully there are still things, hopefully it carries on.
Do you think more can be done by football clubs, football associations to sort of combat racism in the sport?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, from my point of view, I think not just putting Black History Month. Black History Month to me isn't just October.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah,
it should be like all
year round. I
round.
don't think it should be dedicated to just 1 month of the year, and that's for other ethnic backgrounds. And there was, I think, Walsall done something for the Asian community not too long ago, and I think it shouldn't just be one time around the calendar year. It should be across the whole season, just to get other people to be aware of other backgrounds.
What, in terms of Black History Month, what do you think it means to other cultures? So, for example, white people, Asian people, Chinese people. Do you think there's a link, or do they understand it, or is there a relevance there?
I don't know if there would be a full understanding. I think, especially growing up in school, Black History Month was obviously just a month, and that would be the time that they would just speak about the famous black people who are present and who have passed, and it's not spoken about enough about other just normal general people, I think. And there are a lot of black heroes, unsung heroes as well, that probably don't get the recognition that they should do, other than the likes of people that will talk about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks. I think they're the ones that are more noticeable ones, but there are a lot of other people I think should get mentioned, and I don't think that does get said enough, and that's probably why people aren't as aware about Black history, well, about the Black history.
In your role as a professional footballer, do you see an added pressure or an added responsibility even to constantly promote black culture, to sort of raise awareness generally?
I don't think for myself I feel any more pressure. I think that is something that I've always taken on myself, pressure.
Part of the job.
Yeah, that's part of my job and part of the person that I am. I've always taken that pressure on my shoulders, and I walk with that. And we've got quite a diverse group as well. I think I've been around a lot of diverse teams, and there's a lot of different backgrounds, especially the boys here, even area-wise as well. I'm probably one of three from London, but a lot of boys from Manchester, up north, Bolton, Birmingham as well. So I think everyone has their own story about their background as well, their ethnic journey. And so I think if we're just open to listening to other people's journeys, then that's the more we'll get educated.
Absolutely. Now, my parents are Jamaican, and I've never been to Guyana. So tell me a little bit about Guyana and about its rich culture. Most of my friends, the majority of my friends are Jamaican as well, so I know quite a bit about the Jamaican culture. But yeah, Guyana, geographically, is based in South America. It is right next to Brazil and Venezuela as well. We've got a border just next to Venezuela. But in terms of culture-wise, you'd say that we're a Caribbean culture, I think, down to our parties, our carnival, our food, the way that we speak as well. You'd think that we're Caribbean. But yeah, Guyana is everything to me. I think it's obviously an honour for me to play for my country and represent them as well. And my mum she was born here, but she was raised in Guyana from when she was young. And my grandparents are from there as well. So it is everything to me and my family, and I'm not ashamed to speak about Guyana. It is a small country with a smaller population than a lot of the other Caribbean islands, but I've got no shame in talking about my country and bigging it up. Yeah. What do you love most about your Guyanese culture?
I don't know, I can't put it into words. Just whenever I go there, I've just got that home feeling. I've got that sense of this is me, and this is where my family are from, and I can kind of relate to everything that's going on around there and what the people are going through, and it humbles me as well to kind of see, because it is very poor out there as well, and it humbles me to see what people are going through, and they're making the most of what they got right now, and it makes me appreciate what I have as well.
That's really good. Now, when it comes to being Black British, do you think that there is a general understanding of the different African and Caribbean cultures? Because we're so diverse, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. I think for myself, especially growing up in Croydon, it was predominantly, well, my school anyway was predominantly black, and it was a mixture. I was having this conversation with my friend the other day. He said, what do we think we had more Africans or Caribbeans in our school? It was just a mixture. I think everyone knew about the culture and about about other cultures as well. I've been around a lot of Africans growing up as well, and a lot of Caribbeans. So I've kind of been able to understand two different cultures. They are very similar in a lot of ways, but are very, very separate.
Absolutely, yes.
And African cultures have a lot of traditions as well, that probably the Caribbeans don't. So it was good to kind of get a better understanding of how other countries are and how other people kind of are in their day-to-day lives.
So when it comes to overcoming adversity, have you ever experienced racial discrimination or a disadvantage due to your cultural heritage? And if so, how have you overcome or dealt with those challenges?
I wouldn't say I've experienced a lot of racism growing up. I think that's probably because where I'm from, it's a predominant black area, and mixed area, I'd like to say. There's a massive group, there's a black community, Asian community, and white community as well. So I wouldn't say that I've experienced racism within my area.
What would you say to anyone out there listening to this interview who does face disadvantage, racial disadvantage, or any type of disadvantage due to their cultural heritage? What would you say to them?
Just to say try to educate the person that is speaking to you as well, because a lot of the time racial comments come from an uneducated background. They don't understand whether their parents or their parents' parents have a different view on their background or their culture. Just try to educate the person that you are speaking to, and I feel like that's the way that I've kind of gone. I've tried not to be ignorant about it, just to probably understand that they don't know as well.
Yes.
And try to speak to them and guide them through what I believe in and stuff like that, and hopefully change other people's minds.
Yeah, I think that's a really logical and sensible way to deal with it. Just call it out when it happens, educate and gently deal with it as and when. So you had a very, very serious leg injury in 2022, which could have seen the end of your professional career. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? What happened and how did you overcome it?
I was running around the corner at the training ground. I was running and my legs kind of just gave way. I lost the blood circulation in my legs, and I kind of collapsed to the floor after it was I think a 2.5K run. So it wasn't like I was unfit or anything. It was just a simple run, and I kind of collapsed at the end of it, and I was just getting a bad pain in my legs and went to the hospital, got discharged, and they thought it was a sprained shin. But because I've been around football long enough, I know that that wasn't a sprained muscle. I know what sprained muscles feel like. Got an MRI scan, and they said that I'd got compartment syndrome, and I should have had the operation 6 hours after I've done the injury, but I ended up having it 6 days later. So I gained an infection, had numbness in my toes and on my shin. And then I got to the hospital, and the doctor said that after I had the surgery on, I think it's the Wednesday, they said that they didn't think that there's a possibility that I wouldn't be able to walk again because of the infection if it had spread quite a bit. Then they left it open. It was an open wound for the 5 days I was in hospital. So I had 3 surgeries in 5 days, and thank God that I'm still here and still playing football.
Yeah, thank goodness. It must have been a really scary time for you. How did you sort of deal with that at the time?
Praying. I think, I'm a big Christian and my family are big Christians, and just talking to my friends and family at that time, because it was hard, and I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't hard, because it's one of the toughest periods of my life, let alone my football career. And it helped me just put things into perspective as well, that it could be just gone in an instant. So that's why I've always probably got a smile on my face every day, and I'm always happy because it could have been a completely different story, and I couldn't have been, well, there would have been a chance I wasn't be playing football again. So I'm always positive and always like to carry a big smile on my face.
That's awesome. And you are always smiling, which I absolutely love. So in what ways do you think football and what you do can be a driving force for changing society, especially regarding equality when it comes to representation for black people generally, in all walks of life even, not just necessarily football?
Yeah, definitely. Sport has, I've been fortunate enough to travel across the world and see many different places and see different cultures as well. I went to Saudi Arabia in March this year, and obviously that was during Ramadan as well. So it was nice to kind of experience that side of things. Obviously I'm a Christian, but I'm also open to hearing about other people's cultures, and at their kind of, that's their time, they're probably their yearly thing with Ramadan. Obviously I'm not too educated on the Muslim community and the Islamic community, but it was nice to kind of experience that and understand their culture. And football, obviously it's nice to just go to other places as well and visit. I'm fortunate enough, being a footballer, I'm able to visit a lot of places and see a lot of people, and yeah, just understand other people's cultures and their walks of life. Everyone has their own story and their own journey.
Yeah, it's such a nice thing to experience others' lives, other stories. As a professional black footballer, you are part of recognition for black athletes generally, locally and globally. What would you hope to leave as your legacy in terms of generations of footballers to come, and indeed to anyone in the black community needing that bit of inspiration?
I'd like to say, well, first I'd like to say to anyone that's aspiring to be anything in the sport industry or in all walks of life, just to keep going. Don't let one person's opinion affect your judgment on the next thing that you want to do, because you're going to have a lot of doubters on the way. Have a good circle around you, have a good support system, because you are going to need it. There are going to be rough times and bumpy times on the road. No one has a smooth journey. And just to enjoy everything, just to enjoy every moment, because it doesn't last. And to smile and just be thankful for everything that you're going to come up against, because it's going to be good. You're going to have good times and bad times. Just to appreciate the good, and when there are bad times, just to kind of tackle them head on and endure it.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that you're a Christian, and that in itself is a great anchor to keep positive. Is there anything else that you do to keep positive and to keep going, especially in challenging situations?
Yeah, obviously pray. That's the first thing, and speak to people. I speak to my mum every day. Obviously she's in Croydon and I'm up here, but we speak every day. And yeah, speak to my friends and family. I think I've got a good relationship with all my friends from down London, and my family as well. I just have a close relationship with them. So yeah, that is my way of kind of releasing. And
So, Liam, what exactly do you get up to in your spare time?
well, I used to just chill at home, play on my PlayStation all night from when I get back from training to the end. I like cooking as well. My mum's raised me to cook from a young age. So, but now I'm doing my coaching badges. I'm doing my UEFA B license. I don't see myself coming out of football when I do retire, when that day does come. All I've known is football from a young age, and I don't see myself doing anything else outside of the football industry, whether that may be coaching or something else. But I want to take them steps now as early as I can to get my coaching license, and just to see a different pathway. If that is what I want to do, then I'll pursue it, but it'll be good to have it there.
I think it's fantastic that you're ahead of the game in a way, that you're sort of planning ahead for the future, which is a very sensible thing to do. I also like the fact that you have got such a lovely relationship with your mother, and you know, relationships with both parents are fantastic, but with mothers especially. And I love that connectivity. She must be so proud of you.
Yeah, she is. had a lot of hard times with me growing up. Obviously, it was tough for her being a single parent. She kind of had to play that mum and, well, not kind of, she had to play that mum and dad role for me. And I've got everything that I have is for her. We have got a special relationship. She is the reason that I am here today, and I am the man that I am today. It kept me out of a lot of trouble growing up. I did struggle growing up in school and stuff like that, and she kind of kept me on that straight and narrow path as she could. But yeah, I've got nothing but wonderful things to say about her, and she is my go-to person for everything.
That's lovely. Tell me, when you go back to Croydon, how do people in the community treat you? Because you are a celebrity, you're well known, you're very successful. How are those relationships?
It's nice being called a celebrity, but I wouldn't call myself one ever. I don't think you'd ever hear me say that. But I'd like to say that I'm the same person that I was when I was growing up, especially to my closest friends that have known me from primary school, secondary school. I'm the same old Liam, I'd like to say, and I hope that they'd say the same thing. So yeah, it was always nice to go back and see them. I don't go back too often. It is nice to see them, and they kind of just ground me. And if I do feel like I am out of place in any way, then they will tell me about myself, and I've got no problem with that. That's what I like, that they're able to tell me about myself and I'm able to tell them about themselves. That's just a relationship that we have. We're honest with each other. So yeah, it is. I love Croydon. I do love going back there, but I don't get too many times when I do go back there too often.
Yeah, and it's our friends that help us to keep it real.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, you mentioned about you sort of studying in your spare time. So your future is in coaching. So tell me about your plans for the future.
Yeah, I don't know if my plan is to be a coach and such. I do enjoy watching the coaches plan the sessions, and even now, like myself planning the sessions is a lot harder than I actually thought it would be. But I don't see myself coming out of the game. I think that's my main thing. I just see myself being in football forever. That's all I can see. So I don't see myself studying anything else outside of football. I don't see that for me. So I think coaching right now is the path that I want to take, and I'm enjoying it at the moment.
And what sort of coach would you be?
I like to be a coach that helps a lot of people.
Would you be a strict coach?
I like to be like Darren Byfield here.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
always,
Yeah.
always laughing,
Yeah.
always smiling. But when it's time to be serious, time to be serious. Yeah.
Liam, thank you so much for coming out and talking to me today. It's been an absolutely lovely and fascinating insight into your personal journey. And even the weather has been great for us this morning, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Thank you for having me. It's been lovely speaking to you too. And it's been nice to help people get a better insight on myself and Black history.
Absolutely. A great advocate for Black History Month.